newspaper article with you about how by allowing the Berlin Wall to come down, Gorbachev crossed different important frontiers in history.
Me too. It says here it's due in 3 days. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to do a lot of work. Okay. We should start by saying that Gorbachev was the first Soviet leader to envision a brighter future for the Soviet Union, also known as the USSR. He allowed the Berlin Wall to come down, crossing a physical and political frontier, which led to the German reunification, the end of the Cold War, and ultimately a better world for everyone. The world still recognizes these impacts today.
Wow, that's so interesting. Let me start with some background information.
Sounds great. I'll be right back.
And then the back picture of the water.
You got it.
Now, after World War II, Berlin and Germany were split into 4 sections, with West Berlin and West Germany occupied by the Democratic France, America, and Britain, and East Berlin and East Germany occupied by the Communist Soviet Union. In 1949, East Germany did become an independent country. However, it was part of the Eastern Soviet bloc, which meant that the Soviet government was extremely involved in governing it. The government neglected the East German economy, causing food and supply shortages along with extreme poverty. 20% of the East German population escaped to the capitalist West to live a better life, prompting the Soviet government in 1961 to put up a tall, heavily guarded concrete wall between East and West Berlin to keep its citizens in, which became known as the Berlin Wall, or the Iron Curtain. Like in East Berlin, you saw where's the wall?
My home is tiny. It barely fits my family. I've lost my freedom. I can't believe I'm trapped here like a prisoner.
Plastered on the walls of buildings was Soviet propaganda. In schools, teachers didn't teach about events like the Holocaust, but instead spread false information about how great the USSR was. If anyone was spotted trying to cross the 13-foot tall Berlin Wall, they'd be shot on sight. There were also spies called the Stasi, which kept archived information on every single East German citizen. Now, Christina Holtner, a woman who grew up in East Germany, says that the government didn't tell anybody what was actually happening in East. Instead, spread more communist propaganda. She also underlines that people could only leave if they were already retired and visiting family in other Soviet states for big occasions. Now, Mikhail Gorbachev changed all of this. He was the leader of the Soviet Union from 1985 to 1991.
Gorbachev introduced reforms called glasnost and perestroika, meant to reduce corruption in the Soviet government and better the Soviet economy. He was open to negotiation with American presidents, and on June 12th of 1987, American President Ronald Reagan called on Gorbachev to take down the Berlin Wall in his famous "Tear Down This Wall" speech.
General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall!
And Gorbachev listened. He strived to ease tensions between America and the Soviet Union and did that by allowing the wall to fall. But how exactly did the wall come down? Well, in November of 1989, Egon Krenz, chairman of the State Council of East Germany, received a phone call from Miloš Jakeš, the General Secretary of the Czech Communist Republic.
Hello, this is Egon Krenz.
Miloš Jakeš here. We understand that in the past couple of years, we have allowed East German refugees to arrive in Prague. But now, because the Berlin Wall doesn't allow them through any of the other borders, there are too many. Do something or we will close our border with East Germany.
Oh no! If the border is closed, then crucial trade in Czechoslovakia will be cut off. I have to do something quick. Here, I will go speak with my fellow Minister of Interior, Vadim Batakin. We must come up with a new regulation, one that allows East Berlin citizens to travel to West Berlin as well.
The two met up and agreed on a regulation that would allow citizens of all ages to get passports from the police and use those to leave East Berlin. The Central Committee, which made all decisions about East German regulation, favored the new law, meaning that it would go into effect the next day. Gunter Schabowski, an official of the Socialist Unity Party, was set to announce this to the public in a press conference that evening. Now, Gorbachev had the power to stop this from happening, regardless of the fact that trade between Czechoslovakia and East Germany would be cut off. The wall would have remained a symbol of communism. However, he knew that the wall's fall could possibly end the Cold War, the conflict between the superpowers, as the wall not only served as a division of Berlin, but a figurative division of capitalism and communism. Gorbachev is the one who crossed this frontier. Phew, halfway done, and the floor's clean now.
But we only have 1 day left. Let's keep writing.
Yup.
Now, nobody at the press conference knew this, but Schabowski was extremely confused about the regulation. Still, he presented it towards the end of his talk, when an Italian journalist by the name of Riccardo Arnav asked him a question about it. Our question sessions are now open.
Yes, over here.
Yes, dear.
Do you believe that Kren's new travel law could possibly symbolize the end of communist rule?
Well, we understand how important it is for East German citizens to travel abroad. That is why it is official that East German citizens now freely travel to West Berlin.
Without a passport?
As of today, no passports will be required.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe this is really happening! Shabowski had made the mistake of saying passports weren't required when really they were. The press conference was in fact being broadcast through a Soviet news organization called TASS, so many Eastern citizens caught wind of the news right away.
Now, after this mistake, the wall's fall was inevitable, as people who had misinterpreted the regulation rushed the wall right away. Instead of countering it, Gorbachev embraced it and let it happen. The wall's fall crossed many different frontiers. As a result of it, America and the USSR were more open in negotiation as they trusted each other, crossing a political frontier. The wall's fall also ended in their oppression and neglect from the Soviet government to its citizens.
That night, absolute chaos broke free at the Berlin Wall as people who had misinterpreted the new regulation gathered there and yelled to be let out.
According to my duty at the Berlin Wall,
Let me out! Let all of us out!
I shall not let you through. Please return home to avoid any consequence.
No! I've been stuck within East Berlin for much too long. Let us out!
Oh no! Thousands of people are gathering at the Berlin Wall. I can't keep so many people from going. No!
Freedom! Freedom! No longer am I stuck in East Berlin. I can see my family again.
And just like that, the Berlin Wall collapsed. People rejoiced, and Gorbachev saw it as an opportunity to end the Cold War. However, there were multiple perspectives on what happened that night. In the West, nearly everybody celebrated as they saw it as a symbol of the end of communism. East Germans were overjoyed as well, and because of the previous misinformation, some feared that their jobs would be replaced by West German, or that they would have to leave their homes. Most Soviet politicians advocated for the rebuilding of the Berlin Wall, as they feared the downfall of communism. Gorbachev even risked his position as Soviet leader by allowing the wall to fall. One of his advisors, Anatoly Cherniev, wrote in his diary, "The Berlin Wall has collapsed. This entire era in the history of the socialist system is over." That is what Gorbachev has done.
Oh no. How am I going to tell Secretary Gorbachev the news? What has happened in East Berlin is really important, but I don't know how he's going to react. Oh goodness. Secretary Gorbachev, as a fellow advisor, it is my duty to inform you that today, too many people wanted to leave East Berlin. Our guards could not handle the situation. They had to let some people through. We must send all of them to rebuild the wall and protect our beloved East Berlin.
Calm down. I will not interfere with what is going on with the Berlin Wall. Besides, it's about time that the East German citizens gained their freedom. We will take every possible step to ensure that this process is peaceful. It does not threaten European peace. The Cold War may finally come to an end.
If you say so, Secretary Gorbachev. People were finally free to leave East Berlin, crossing a physical frontier and changing millions of lives. And just the next year, Germany was reunified by treaty. Once more, the Berlin Wall's fall was the last straw before the end of the Cold War. 3 weeks after its collapse, Gorbachev and then American President George H.W. Bush met at the Malta summit to discuss changes in relations as a result of the wall's fall. There they declared that the Cold War would end soon, and 2 years later, on July 31st, 1991, they signed the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, which limited intercontinental missiles. The Cold War officially ended on December 26, 1991, as the Soviet Union dissolved and Gorbachev resigned from office. Communism in the East was finally over, paving the way for peace between the West and the newly democratic Russia by Boris Yeltsin, which was also more open to politics.
We're almost done.
Just the final stretch, we can do it.
Now the impact of this is forever lasting. People from divided Germany still refer to it as the East and the West, and haven't moved on from what they experienced there, according to Christina Homer. Think about it, just 34 years ago, it was illegal to travel between the two cities. But today, anyone can do it easily. By allowing the wall to fall, Gorbachev crossed a monumental frontier in history and changed the world as we know it today for the better.
That was such a great article you wrote.
We finished in 3 days.
Thank you.